roof leak.
What about the wind standard?
Yes.
1170.2.
Roof leak? How was it connected?
I haven't looked at the email because I'm here.
You guys did no homework, did you?
What?
Any research at all?
Well,
They're not supposed to do any research. Why?
They're meant to. They're meant to like.
No, they're meant to leave their brains blank so that they can ask questions of us.
Okay.
you're the oracle.
All right. Let me ask you. When do you think the Australian standard for wind was created?
1172.
1172. What?
No?
Is that not the year that they were created? Like 5033, 4777? Is that just that far in the future?
1170.
I didn't know that, man.
That's a Gregorian calendar.
How do you think they got the cross up? So all those structural calculations there.
Yeah.
How deep it had to go and all that stuff.
Wait, 4777. Okay, cool.
Alright,
That's
so
interesting.
when was it created?
So when actually was
50 years ago.
Like
Almost
70.2.
exactly 50 years ago.
70s.
79?
You want a big
Can you-
71.
Hold on, so before that, they didn't have a wind standard?
They probably relied on like Euro or US codes because they're much
Australia.
older, way older than us.
I thought it was derived from another standard that eventually became 1170.2.
Point two.
Wind loading.
A lot of it is taken from Euro and US because they're just so much older as countries and with engineering.
I remember in
US.
US,
They're about as old as us.
they're older than us.
Way
Not
older
by
than us.
much, are they?
Aren't they?
no, but the wind loading.
So much history.
No, but 1170.2 that's not just
History,
solar though.
Yeah, nice buildings,
That's sort of
structures,
everything.
bridges, everything. Yeah, wind actions basically. Solar's only like a tiny bit. Like a
Because I
one
remember
page.
when I started in 09, they weren't really incorporating the wind loading standard, or it wasn't known about, or wasn't really talked about like it is today. And then like a few years later, it was Energy Matters. It turned out we couldn't technically install tilt legs on sheds.
Yeah.
And then I was like, oh, what's this 1170.2 standard? And it's like, oh wow.
Yeah, lots of
Yeah.
But even till today, not people know about it. I mean, you know the basics like wind region and terrain category. But apart from that, what else?
Is that where all the edge zones, internal zones come from?
Yeah, all that. So the roof zone definitions all come from there. Shielding factors, and now there's even more different factors that are coming in that are just going to change how. Again, it's not installers don't really have to worry about it. They just have to know what's happening and why it's happening. But most of the work is done behind the scenes.
Because I assume that's all incorporated into your generic engineering. So it's,
But yeah, so essentially this change anyway, what's happening this year, last year, is the standards haven't been changed for over 10 years. I think the last time they touched it is 2011. So it's been 10 years.
Actually, 2011. I remember that day.
Yeah. Oh yeah, because you still would have been doing
It Energy
stuff.
Matters, yeah. And it was all, I think that was the year all the hype was around
That was a
clamps.
big change, yeah.
When Doc did all those tech bulletins.
There were no clamps that I knew of
JL.
for 2011 or something. Like we weren't using, like we couldn't install on clip lock technically.
Yeah.
Because everyone was just screwing straight through the pan.
Oh,
the
yeah.
crest.
Oh, bring that back. Make my
Oh
life
no,
easier.
yeah, no.
And then slicking everything up.
And then I think Sunlock brought out a clamp. And then S5 always sort of had something, and then Schledder. But did Schledder have a clamp?
Who?
Schledder.
Never sold it.
When did you have your
That
first
was
clamp
cool. That was like,
come out?
Yeah.
I think was before me when I joined those clamps there already.
When you're saying clamps, you're talking about like
Roof clamps.
IO9,
mid-clamp,
roof clamp, so
roof clamp.
406, 700,
Yeah.
305.
Oh, IO9.
I want to say 2014.
Yeah, I think it was.
I would say.
I think those certs were 2014.
I think it was further down the line and when it was like a bit of a topic in the industry because no one was really using clamps.
So they just used to screw in. That's awesome.
Yeah. So
Why do you like that so much?
Because then it just limits the risk of knowing what the roofing shit is.
Well, I think the issue was that the
Going
water
straight to
would,
the prills.
you know, because the water obviously goes through the pan.
I mean, what's the difference between screwing into a clip lock and screwing into a trim deck? You're still going on the.
No, trim deck's okay because with trim deck you go through the crest.
Yeah,
the existing
but you would do
screws.
it the same with.
The clip lock, because it's like it's rounded, right? But usually with clip lock back in the day, everyone just went through the pan.
Yeah, that's not good, obviously, because the water run.
Yeah, so that was the issue that we were having.
But could you still screw in the cross with the clip lock?
Obviously not long line.
Nah.
No, I think you could
You
406,
still could,
700,
yeah.
but you know, the sort of cowboys out there and just thought, oh, it's obviously a wider pan. We'll just go straight through the pan. I remember that was a bit of a hot topic, and that was before Facebook was, you know, had all the
People
solar
asking
groups
questions.
on there. You get crucified today if that topic was on the socials. You know,
There wasn't socials back then.
No, it was 2014, 2015.
I didn't get you guys though. I remember Energy Matters had like a forum or something, right?
There was the Energy Matters forum. Yeah.
They don't use it?
It's like a whirlpool
They did.
thing.
Did they?
They did.
No, Sean had a pretty funny joke. I found it funny anyway. Because there's a new wind standard, and you guys know the cartoon bananas in pajamas.
B1, B2.
Well, it's not a cartoon. They dress up in the costumes.
Oh, is that where you're going with this?
It's real, yeah.
B1,
It's
B2.
B1 and B2.
What is in?
Replacement
Well, that's
what?
it.
Yeah, so there's a new wind standard called B2 now.
Mm.
B1 is essentially what B was before.
B was that normally like Queens, like Brisbane,
Yeah, Queensland.
and more northern got to
More
like
northern.
C, like
And then you got the
Bundaberg,
Cs.
Townsville.
You still got the Bs. But now
Yeah, right.
what happens is there's a B2, and Brisbane has now gone, instead of 100 Ks wind region B, it's now 200 Ks.
So I remember there was obviously the terrain category,
Yeah.
1 and 2, which got tacked on to the end. Depending how close you were to like the shore
To
line.
the shore, yeah.
Yeah.
So that's still there TC1,
Okay.
TC2, 2.5. But the big change is that there's a B1 and a B2 now, and that Brisbane now, instead of being 100 Ks, it's 200 Ks from the coast, and that's all wind region B. So where, for example, Toowoomba used to be wind region A, now that's B, and that's probably going to be the biggest shock, because that's going to be a big change for going from.
Oh, Toowoomba was always the cutoff, wasn't it?
Yeah, that was.
I remember
on the
that
map
at
too.
EM. Yeah, it was always the cutoff. You go from like 80 feet to 200.
Yeah. So now all those guys are going to be B1, and then the zones that were previously B in North Queensland are going to be B2, and that's going to be known as a cyclonic area too. So essentially, there's going to be more cyclonic areas in Australia, the North Queensland side.
Remember all those areas that have like a cyclone clip on the tile?
Yeah.
You know, they have to unclip it and clip it back on and reinstate the tile after grinding it out.
No, do tell.
Remember that.
I didn't even know there was such a thing as a cyclone clip.
This is, it was at Energy Matters, so we did nationwide.
Is this only for clip?
No, it's
on
tile.
tiles,
Yeah, it's concrete terracotta, wind region C and D.
Yeah.
Maybe just D, but pretty sure C and D, where the actual tile would have a cyclone clip holding the tiles
Jeez.
down. And when you did solar, you don't get to get a roofer in to, unhinge the clip
Oh,
and then
yeah.
reinstate it.
Mhm.
Yeah, and then we started doing it in-house. Yeah, but I remember that. It's interesting, yeah. But now just do Victoria, so what's that, A?
Yeah, Victoria. Nothing's changed for Victoria really. It's still A.
Isn't there a new adults only wind region?
Are you referring to
AO?
AO?
Do you remember the old AO?
Were you working on that for a while?
Yeah, remember with
Is Australia
teenage boy watching
Which one?
SBS late at
AO?
night.
Oh
Probably
yeah,
young
yeah.
for
Yes, AO,
Adults only.
What's
AO.
AO?
AO,
Where-
do towels.
where-
So basically, inland Australia now, instead of it used to be, I think between A1 and A4, and they're all pretty similar. And when it comes to solar, it doesn't really matter whether you're A1 or A4. But now all inland Australia is going to be called A0. It's going to be a new wind region, and the main difference of that is that it's all going to be classified as TC2.
Yeah, right.
So even if you're in in a town that's quite established and you've got buildings and a lot of shielding and trees, you still have to use maximum TC2. And terrain category, like the TC1, has the biggest impact on wind design. So it has the biggest impact on wind pressure.
Yeah,
If
right.
that makes sense.
I remember 70.2 we had like the diagram of like a well built up suburban area of like, medium to high buildings, and that was terrain category, which is the less dense one. Like,
1.
and then
Yeah.
2 was like just farmland,
Farmland, yeah. Open,
Yeah,
like
yeah,
open,
yeah.
like open fields.
Yeah.
With a cut with a
type
tree
setup.
or two.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Okay, that's interesting.
And then with the terrains, they've taken out 1.5, which we don't really use a lot.
Yeah.
But they've taken that out, but at the same time they've allowed designers to interpolate the numbers. So if there's something that's sitting in between those meters,
You still
it was like water.
Yeah, I guess right.
It's just
We're having a pool
it's so
party over
chill.
here.
It's just dripping.
Oh, it's
with-
your patient wolf gin on me.
Yeah, it's just condensation on it.
Do you know that it's
Where'd you get it
made
from?
with purpose
Where?
in Australia
In Melbourne.
by hand?
By hand.
It's delicious.
It's so best chill.
What Cutterell's made in Australia?
It is. Oh.
Patient wolf.
I forgot what he thought.
So with the new wind standard,
Mm.
1170.2, is it still 1170.2 or is it?
11.3.2, 2021. 2021.
And what's the other one? 12 or
2011.
11? Okay.
So if
Exactly 10 years.
modules getting larger physically, does that have an impact on clean energy with engineering search?
Yeah, I mean
and
it's
everything?
probably the worst timing, right? Because we've got material pricing just skyrocketing across the board. We have panels just going 2.3, 2.4 meters, and then you have wind standards coming in. It's a lot more conservative. A lot of factors that's causing it to be conservative, and then this is all just pretty much going to impact.
Yeah, and you're seeing a lot of those panels now appearing on residential roofs. Because if you're installing less panels, you're paying the installer less at the current.
Yeah, but not everyone pays
Scenario.
per panel or per watt. Like it's still a bit of a mix, though, isn't it? Like what you pay in the subbies. If it's per
Yeah,
panel,
so the subbies, it's like per panel, or
Which
cents
what-
per watt,
which is
plus variations normally. But you've got an in-house crew. But
Yeah.
still, like it's getting pretty risky without using access equipment. If the panels are like creeping over
what's wrong with
2.1 meters.
What's wrong with a 30 kilo 2.3 by 1.2 panel, like on a residential
Well, you've got a
house?
crew of 3,
You don't even need
It's got
3
a
people
gym
to
wall,
do it.
that's all.
Yeah.
and your A grades in the switchboard or on the roof. You've got the 2 apprentices to get the panel up on the roof without like safe access equipment or
Yeah.
I don't know.
It's a problem in our industry, I think.
It is.
An issue.
Well, why are they making the panels just more efficient in the same footprint? Why are they just
Like a
getting
triangle?
bigger and bigger and bigger?
They-
Triangle. Or just we end up just with the big see like the window trucks going past with the big window frame.
The big sheet of glass.
It'll just end up being a big panel frame that has to be craned up on the roof. Like I remember I used to deal with customers who just I remember I used to deal with customers who thought we were literally installing just one big glass panel
Really?
on the roof, like a big crane. Like the length of 18 modules, 2 rows, like 2 rows of 9. Oh, is it just one big panel? Is it like a crane or helicopter?
That's how
No.
the Maverick 5B stuff is being transported. They just crane everything and just drop it on the roof.
Helicopter.
Helicopter.
Yeah, well, I only deal with 1.5 kilowatts. So
Got a budget for a helicopter?
That's where the margin is. Helicopters cheaper in some cases. People have used them.
Mm,
All
I've
these
heard.
pallets of panels and stuff. Yeah, 100%.
for your engineering certs,
Especially with fuel pricing.
for residential, would only cover up to certain size modules.
I mean,
Physically.
even with our resi certs, we've done it all up to 2.4.
Oh, okay,
4.2,
cool.
Yeah, even though it's overkill.
But also, it's only up to a certain importance level, right?
Correct. Yeah.
So,
Explain that.
well, an importance level is basically how important is it that this panel stays on the roof? That's basically it, right?
That's
Okay.
that's the
Yeah.
bottom
in
line.
in layman's,
Yeah.
you could also turn it in more dark ways. That how dangerous is it for this panel to drop off the roof?
If it
Yeah,
does
exactly
drop
what
off,
I said.
how much damage is
But you
going
gotta
to
put
do?
more. You gotta add the word danger in there. Life and death.
I mean,
Like the
you know,
1 in
it's
500
more-
year storm or something.
Yeah.
Well, it's more important that the panel stays on the roof at a primary school than it is on an old people's home or something. For example. Is that right? Or?
So you're better off saving the
Sadly, yes.
No, I'm joking. But yeah, densely populated areas,
Women and children.
Okay.
hospitals, schools, they would have really high importance levels.
You know what you're missing? Dip.
Wasn't allowed to have the dip on the shop.
Oh, man, Jesus.
Just
Too much mess.
Yes.
So on Sean's place on his acreage, like in his shed out in the middle
Oh,
of
yeah.
nowhere, the importance level like the lowest
Zero,
one.
minus, negative.
Really
Because
important.
no one's around. Like
No, it's alright.
you got animals in the farm.
No
Yeah,
risk.
I've got
to
sheep,
business.
man.
So what if it kills a sheep? He's taking an animal's life.
Maybe because of the sheep, we might have to bump it up. So
Okay.
to
There's cows too. Just saying.
He's saying Sean's not important.
He's saying that Sean's animals aren't important. It's zero importance level.
But isn't there
But-
something happening now where it's all changing as well? Like, didn't you say there's
oh,
like
it's
a,
still because
like a climate change?
well, it's still on the importance
denier?
level.
I mean, a multiplier.
still on the importance level. It's still pretty much up to interpretation. So every engineer sees it differently.
Mm.
Some look
sounds
at
good.
it. Some look at it as like, all right. So
That's
if
what
it's
you
if you got a school, but it's a middle of residential, they will classify that as a lower importance level compared to a school in the CBD, because it's surrounded by more traffic,
Other
more
buildings.
people walking
This is
around.
part of the new standard.
This is part of
Nah.
just normal importance level definition.
Ah.
But it's becoming more to light because this is, again, because, you know, solar's still pretty young, everyone's still learning, and now importance level are coming a bit more in commercial installations.
Yeah.
So it used to be like, you know, all the warehouses are done, now it's more schools, hospitals, universities. So how do you classify, because that impacts wind design massively as well.
You're talking from Clenergy internally, or is this?
Oh, it's industry wide. Yeah.
The building codes.
Building codes, yeah.
Ah, okay, building codes.